Welcome to Journey of Faith, Homeschooler to Business Owner, episode number 2. I'm your host, Renee Berry. When I brought my first son home from the hospital, I can remember the first thought I had when we drove into the garage. Will he like it here? Will he like it here? What kind of question was that? He's a baby. He knows nothing but what we teach him and how we respond to his needs. But as a first-time mom, I had no manual for raising a newborn, just like you. I had no idea if I could do this or not. I had no idea that he had no clue of what was taking place at the time. Fast forward to the second born, I learned that we have an instinctive nature when it comes to taking care of these little people that the Lord has allowed us to raise. Oh, that does not mean we get it right all the time. We have to work at it every single day to try to be the best parents that we can possibly be. We are not alone if we have the Lord as our guide. He teaches us through His Word on how to live this Christian life. With that said, my husband and I felt led to homeschool even before we had children. Now, this was back in the 90s when homeschooling was not as popular as it is today, especially for African Americans. Just as we have no manual on raising kids, we had no manual for homeschooling. Our only reference was the Lord. He put it on our hearts to do it, and we ran with it. We would homeschool 1 year at a time. The first year turned into the second year, the third year, and so on until there were no more years to teach. I hear lots of people say, there is no way I could homeschool my children. All I can say to that is this. There are a lot of things we tell ourselves we cannot do, but I know that obedience is better than sacrifice. That did not mean I did it perfectly. It took lots of prayer for me to get up every day and do it. There were some days I doubted that I could do it any longer. But like I said, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and months turned into years. Before I knew it, our kindergartners were finishing up their senior year in high school. Where does the time fly? That old saying, time flies when you're having fun. Well, there were many a fun days, and there were many not so fun days. But I took it one step at a time. Matter of fact, I would always say to my boys in school, how do you eat an elephant? And they would say, one bite at a time. I know a lot of people hate that saying, but I'm very fond of it, and that's how I approach life, even today. That's how I approach this podcast, one episode at a time. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I just want to encourage someone who may be on the fence of homeschooling your children. Take it one day at a time. It's very important to start your day off in prayer. Most importantly, it's important to have a routine. Children need a routine, and so do you. If you just wake up any old time of the day and treat your school as if it's a weekend, in your pajamas, there's no schedule, and you are winging it, it will be very hard to continue like that. Just think, we don't do that with our outside jobs. We have to be there at a certain time of the day, and there are specific tasks that you have to do. You don't just leave whenever you want, unless you are the boss. Yes, you are the boss of your homeschool, but remember, Jesus is your boss. The Bible says in Colossians 3:23-24, in all the work you are doing, work the best you can. Work like you are working for the Lord, not for people. Remember that you will receive your reward from the Lord. This must be remembered if you are homeschooling or working outside the home. We are to do everything to the glory of God. I kept this in my head at all times. Renee, this is not about you. I am here to give them an education that they need. I don't have all the answers, but God does, and He will give me what I need to teach them. I have to say again, He qualified me for the call as a homeschool mom, literally. I will go into further details of this in the upcoming podcast. Just know this, it may be new to you, just like it was bringing that first newborn baby home from the hospital, but the Lord will help you raise them and bring them up in the way they should go. I pray that you see God in the direction He would have you to go with homeschooling or whatever He is calling you to do. He will lead you. Thanks so much for listening to Journey of Faith, Homeschooler to Business Owner. I look forward to spending time with you in the next podcast.